Hi, my name is Olivia, and I am passionate about helping you understand what relational trauma is, how to get through it, overcome it, and ultimately how to move on with your life. So we've been going through a series on how to get through a breakup. It all comes from my book, I Can't Believe How Much This Hurts. You can find it on Amazon.com. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go through the book. Today is all about something called a timeline. So a lot of times when we go through a relationship, there is so much that happens. Before we talked about how to identify the good, how to make a list of what was bad. Well, now we're going to put things in order. So you really want to look at what was happening right before you met this person. You can do this several ways. One way is to do a line, which would be like a continuum. And then you can do tick marks and write the event and the emotion on top. You could do it that way, or you could just do bullet points. I find it's usually easier just to do bullet points. So you want to do what were you doing or what was going on in your life. Sorry, I have a little dog making a lot of noise. Sorry, you okay? Okay. Doing the bullet points. So you're going to identify what was going on in your life right before you met this person. Or right before you started dating. So sometimes you date your friend and you've known them for years. That's okay. You could just do what was going on in your life before you started dating if you had a prior long-standing relationship with this person. So you want to do what was happening right before you met them or before you agreed to date. And then you want to go through and do the emotion that goes with that event. So how were you feeling right before you met them or right before you started dating, and what were you doing? And then what happened? So what was the next step? So then you're going to put what the event was and the emotion, and then what happened. And then you're going to do the event and the emotion, and then what happened. So you're going to go through the whole list through that relationship. Sometimes people will say, I was married for 30 years. There's no way I could possibly do a timeline of the good, bad, and the ugly, right? We want to do all of it, a really good wide look of everything. So just significant events along the way. So in a 30-year relationship, you still can make a timeline. It is going to be a bit longer, but you're not going to do every single detail of the entire relationship. You want to just do the big significant ones that are kind of like standing out to you. So whatever stands out to you when you sit down to do the exercise, that's what I would write on your paper or in your computer, however you're going to do the timeline. I would definitely write that down because more than likely it's coming up for a reason. So remember, this is not therapy. This is just an exercise you can do if you feel like you're in a good place to do so. If at any time it gets overwhelming, take a break and do something else, and you can always come back to it. If it's ever too overwhelming, then you want to seek help in your area from a professional because, again, this is not therapy. So I'm going to kind of go through an example of someone's timeline. This is a fictitious character who's going through a breakup. It starts on page 19. So it's a woman and she's going through a breakup. And so here is part of her timeline. So she writes, I had just moved to a new state to start my new job. And how was she feeling? Alone. So you can see she's starting off really vulnerable. She moved to a new state. She didn't really know anybody. She was feeling alone. I first saw him at work. He was in the break room and I was sitting at my desk, curious. That's how she was feeling, right? So she saw him. She noticed him and she was like, she's kind of curious. Went to a restaurant with coworkers. He sat by me excited. So you can see in her timeline, this is how it started. What was she doing right before? Well, she's moving to a new state. She's feeling alone. She saw him. She felt curious about him, went out to eat. He sat by her. That made her feel excited. So from there, she's going to just do, and then what happened and how did she feel? Then what happened, how did she feel? So you're not writing a novel for every event. Just try to do a sentence, make it as short and sweet as you can, just to jot down and keep like a placeholder for that moment. And then also writing the emotion that goes along with how you were feeling when that occurred. Okay, so let's see. Once you go through the timeline, there will be a part 2 of what to do with the information because that's really important. So we want to write this timeline, and it's pretty incredible because oftentimes when someone writes a timeline, everything starts to feel and move and be very different. There is something about putting these events in order that really helps our brain make sense of things. So it tends to be that you just see things entirely different than maybe you've ever seen before just by writing them down and being able to look at them. So again, you can get this, I can't believe how much it hurts, from Amazon.com. I will put a link in the description. There's also going to be a link for a full course. Both are available and on sale right now. So if you want more exploration or you want the full book or a full course, feel free to click on those. Otherwise, I'm really glad you're here. I'm wishing you all the best as you get through your breakup. I feel like breakups are one of the worst things. Even if they happen for the best, it's still super painful. I also encourage you to go through the playlist. I will leave a link that you can click on and watch more videos to get more support. So take good care, be kind to yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.